Hello everyone, and a long overdue welcome back to iRacing. It's been more than a month since I last raced in this sim, but watching the Broca Sim Racing's video on iRacing this week has inspired me to give it another try. So what safe and simple combo did I choose to ease me back into iRacing gently? Yep, the Porsche Cup at Bathurst. What was I thinking? iRacing has given us the number 15 car, so it doesn't fancy our chances, and quite frankly, nor do I. But we're starting on the third row, qualifying 6th with a time of 2:08.5. Now, I suspect that this high starting position isn't a true reflection of my pace. 10 out of the 20 drivers haven't posted a time, so it's likely we'll have some really fast guys charging through the pack. But by starting on row 3, we've given ourselves the best possible chance to avoid any lap 1 mayhem on the mountain. Let's get down on track.
Green flag.
Oh, and a really poor start there. I'm so rusty in this Porsche Cup car. It's been almost 2 months since I last drove it, and I was really hesitant as the lights went green there. We could have lost up to 4 positions before we even make it into T1. Certainly the 2 drivers who started right behind me on the grid, Peter Michels and Florian Martin, they both got past, and it looks like Axel Stark and Gerd Zeckner have as well. And if you look in the rearview mirror, that's Paolo Varolo all over my rear end. And not only that, we've got Sebastian Gerber alongside us on the left, so we're going to have to stay really tight into Griffin's Bend here. We don't want to drift into Gerber's pass. We've just about managed to hold on to that position. Varolo and Gerber still behind us. Varolo's going to have a look up the inside. Oh no, the last thing I wanted was to go too wide into the cutting. That's what we've got to do. We've got to take evasive action too, as Varolo looks to make the pass stick. We've got no choice but to let that one go. I don't want to get sucked into a battle this early in the mountain on lap 1, so we've let Varolo by as well. But I said before the race started that it was likely I'd have to deal with faster drivers surging through the pack, and so it's proved already. Varolo was one of the 10 drivers who didn't post a qualifying time. However, he's got the number 4 plate, so he's clearly quick, and I think that was the wise decision, just to let him by and not get drawn into a fist fight so early on lap 1. And in actual fact, my main aim from this first lap was literally just to survive in one piece. We're not quite there yet. I don't want to jinx it, but we have got through the trickiest section on the mountain. We're coming out onto the Conrod Straight for the first time now. I've got no idea what position I'm in. Certainly nowhere near the 6th position that we started from. We've let at least 5 cars go through. We're going to be facing a challenge from Sebastian Gerber behind too, because Gerber's picked up a toe down this straight. He's carrying a bit of extra speed. He's going to have a look up the inside into the chase. Thankfully it's a no-go, but I think we might have broken a bit too late. Can we get this car turned in? No, we can't. We're out onto the grass. Now we've got to try and hold it. We can't spin here. We've got to rejoin safely. We have done, but we've lost a bunch of positions again. What a disaster this first lap has been. A really careless mistake there towards the end of the lap. I was having trouble braking into that corner during practice. I thought I'd found my braking point, but I just didn't take into account the cold brakes and cold tyres. And where are we? We're down in 16th position. So yeah, I started the lap in 6th place. I ended it in 16th. We gave away 10 positions on this opening lap. So let's check out the replay and see what caused it to go so badly wrong. Well, it was all about the getaway. I was too cautious, too nervous on the throttle as the lights went green. And as a result, we gave away a bunch of positions before we'd even made it into T1. Then another one, Paolo Varolo, going up the inside into the cutting. That spooked me, I have to admit. But as soon as I saw that Varolo had a half a car length's advantage, I decided to back out of it. I didn't want to get drawn into a dust-up this early in the lap. However, at the end of the lap, the mistake was all my own doing. Under pressure from Gerber into the chase. I just outbraked myself. I can't get the car turned in. Now I'm on the grass, and at this point I'm panicking about spinning. I don't want to spin across the track. We managed to get back on, but not before giving away a load more positions. That mistake could have gone so much worse. Right behind me, the number 14 car, Aaron Herbert, makes exactly the same mistake getting out onto the grass, but he ends up in the tyre wall. So after a disappointing first lap, I tried to settle down for lap 2. I got over the mountain okay. I'm still in 16th, about 0.6 of a second behind Soma Saplaki. But then we're going to get another big scare coming out of the chase. Watch Tim, watch out. He loses it right in front of me. We have to swerve, get onto the grass again, and somehow we managed to avoid him. But it does cost us another position. Yeah, I still don't quite know how I avoided Warchow. I think it was all down to luck and how Warchow's tyres gripped when he rejoined the track. Right there, that's how close we came. So yeah, the position that I lost there was to Ethan Lorry. Lorry was right behind me and he managed to nip past while I was desperately trying to rescue the car. But of course, we're still in 16th because we did gain the position from Tim Warchow. And in fact, we might get an opportunity to snatch 15th because Lorry almost lost it into the cutting. He was out towards the barrier. We're side by side coming up the hill. Can we make the pass stick? Yes, we've got the power to get in front of Lorry. That promotes us up to 15th and the yellow flags came out too. So has there been another incident further up on the track? Well, yes, there had been another incident, but before we look at that, we'll just check a replay of Ethan Lorry getting it all wrong into the cutting. That's what gave us the opportunity to nip past and take 15th. But yeah, further up the track, this is the battle for 4th position. Watch Dustin Pluris. He's going to run it out too wide into the barrier. Can he save it? No, he can't. That's a big contact into the barrier, and Pluris's race is done. Over the skyline on lap 4, we're up to 14th position now thanks to Pluris's crash, but we've got Ethan Lorry for company. We managed to nip past Lorry on the previous lap, but we haven't been able to shake him off. He's within 0.8 of a second. Further in front, there's a pack of 4 or 5 cars, all within a couple of seconds. We're struggling to stick with them here, and I might push a little bit too hard. We rubbed the wall, oh no! It doesn't take much at all to damage these Porsche Cup cars, and now I'm just waiting for the crew chief announcement to tell me I've picked up damage. I think we might have got away with it. Had we picked up damage, we would have been told about it by now, but it has cost us speed down the Conrod Straights. We're going to get challenged by Lorry. He's going to try and tuck it up the inside. We're going to defend and have the inside line for the chase chicane. We're too wide coming through this section. Can we hold our nerve and hold on to this 14th position? It looks like we have, and there's absolute mayhem in front. There are cars everywhere. Well, what on earth has happened there? I counted at least 4 cars in the barrier. That was a massive accident at the end of lap 4, and I think we might even be in the top 10 now. And we are. There's the confirmation from crew chief. We've jumped from 14th to 10th. Well, here's what caused that massive wreck at the end of lap 4. Watching the number 20 car of Peter Michels. He loses it exiting the chase and is out onto the grass. Now he's going to rejoin right in front of that battling pack ahead of me. He's actually waiting for a safe spot to rejoin here, but when he does, wham! Javier Moreno absolutely drills him, and that was really unfortunate for Moreno. He had nowhere to go, mainly because he was concentrating on his own battle. Look how unsighted he is. He's got 2 cars side by side in front of him, and then all of a sudden, there's Michels. He's got nowhere to go, and that's what causes this almighty wreck. And actually, I'm counting my lucky stars that I wasn't closer to that pack in front of me. Had I been battling with them, I'm in no doubt that I would have been caught up in that wreck as well. As it was, I managed to nip past safely and jump from 14th to 10th. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to hold on to that 10th position for very long because by the start of lap 6, I'd been caught up by the number 7 car of Joseph Dimbilo behind. Now, Dimbilo had qualified on the front row. He posted a time of 2:06 to qualify second on the grid. However, he decided to start from pit lane, so he's been working his way through the pack over these opening 6 laps. He's going to make a move up the inside into Griffin's Bend, and again, I know he's quicker than me, probably 2.5 to 3 seconds a lap quicker than me, so I've got no worries about letting him by. Well, what I don't want to do is let Ethan Lorry by too, because Lorry is still breathing down my neck. He's just 0.5 of a second behind, but for now we're down to 11th. We're going to tuck in behind Dimbilo and try and follow him. Yeah, I gave Dimbilo all the space he needed up the inside here, and to be fair to him, he gave me all the space I needed too, but I think I'll be better off tucking in behind the quicker driver. Hopefully, by following him, he can drag me a bit closer to that pack in front. Currently, there's still a couple of seconds down the road. End of lap 6 then, and as you can see, the plan has just about worked. Dimbilo has indeed caught up with that pack in front. I've not quite been able to stick with him, but I am a lot closer than I was. I'm now within a second of this group, and we're actually going to lose one of them. That's Sebastian Gerber, who's crashed out of the final turn. Yeah, really big punishment for the smallest mistake for Gerber here. He just clips the grass, it sends him spinning into the barrier, and that car ends up on its roof. And speaking of big punishments for small mistakes, I'm about to get one here at the start of lap 7. We're in 10th position, chasing that pack in front, but I'm just going to push a little bit too hard. And remember I said earlier in the race how it's so easy to damage these Porsche Cup cars? Well, I'm just going to run it out wide, clip the wall right there, and are we going to get the announcement from crew chief that we're dreading?
You knocked your wheels out of alignment.
Yep, there it is. We've suffered wheel damage by grazing that wall. It was such a light hit. It didn't even give us an instant point, but we're going to have some real trouble steering this car now. I've got no choice but to let Ethan Laurie through. The last thing I want to do is try and defend a position where I don't know how this car is going to handle. So once we get out onto the Conrod straight, we can assess the damage. And yeah, it feels pretty bad. This car is pulling really hard to the right now. We've got to turn the wheel about 45 degrees just to go straight. And yeah, another look at the contact that might just have cost me a top 10. Well, we've got another 5 laps to go at the end of this one, so I've just got to get on with it now. Try and work with this steering problem as best I can. Try and keep with this pack in front just in case something goes wrong. Well, there might be something going wrong because there are 2 or 3 cars all over the place there. What went on there? John Phillips in the yellow Porsche has dropped back a few positions. He was in 7th place, but now he's right in front of us in 10th, so that has helped us close the gap. Now, can we stick with these guys now that we're right on the tail of Phillips? We got really close going through turn 1 there, but look at the extra speed Phillips is carrying out of that first turn. I don't know if that's anything to do with the wheel damage that is costing me some top line speed, or whether it was just my technique through the first turn, but we're losing a bit of ground already down this straight. Can we claw them back in as we climb up over the mountain? Oh, turning to the right is proving really tricky now. The car is pulling to the right anyway, but when you turn the wheel, it makes entering the corner really, really difficult. However, it looks like Phillips is having problems of his own steering because he made a complete mess of that left-hander. Can we close in on him coming up the hill? It might be that he's got wheel damage of his own. He certainly had some contact with one of the other cars at the end of that last lap. But as we work our way through these fast left-handers, oh, he's definitely going to have wheel damage now. Surely he just clouted the same wall that I did. And yeah, look how that car is handling now. It is all over the place. We've got an opportunity here. We could get a top 10 position back. I certainly don't want to rush into it through here. Let's wait until we get out onto the straight. We can assess what sort of damage Phillips has got and whether we've got the pace to get past him safely. At the moment, turning my car unchallenged is difficult enough. Trying to get around another car might be even more tricky. We're grazing the barrier again on the outside. The last thing I want to do is pick up more damage. But yeah, look at the extra pace we've got. We're going to breeze past John Phillips easily now, and that is going to put us back into 10th position. So let's see what happened at the end of the previous lap. It was actually contact between Phillips and Joseph Dimbulo. Phillips on the inside and half a car length's advantage. Dimbulo just gets squeezed out. There's a bit of contact. Oh, there's heavier contact there, and both of them so close to losing it. And look how well the number 5 did. Superb avoidance work from Ethan Laurie there. But then later in the lap, John Phillips makes exactly the same mistake I did, hitting exactly the same wall. Lap 10 of 12 now, and just as I'm getting my hopes up that I might have done enough for a top 10 finish, I push this damaged car just a little bit too hard. Coming out of turn 2, the rear steps out, we slide into the wall, and unfortunately we give Andy Johnson 10th position. We're down to 11th. Yeah, I knew that Johnson was little more than a second behind me, so I knew I had to push, but unfortunately with this damaged car I pushed just a little bit too hard. Turning right is a real challenge, and it bit me there. So with just 2 laps to go and Johnson now 4.5 seconds clear in 10th, I've decided just to take it easy, accept the 11th position and bring this car home battered and bruised. However, we see a back marker lose it in front of us. That was Javier Moreno. That could have ended so much worse for us. Thankfully, Moreno stayed out by the wall and gave us the space to get by. And although we've settled for 11th position now, we're going to get another message from crew chief that's a little more upbeat than the last one we got.
White flag, white flag. Car stop on the left.
So someone has stacked it coming down the mountain, but we don't know where at the moment, so I'm going really cautiously through these turns. I don't know where I might find a stricken car. There it is, and it's Paolo Varolo, who must have crashed out of 4th position. Now, has he picked up damage? The chances are, if you crash at that part of the circuit, you are hitting a wall. So I suspect he's got damage. We're going to pull alongside Varolo here, and we're going to try and snatch the 10th position back. Again, it's really challenging because I've got to turn the wheel about 45 degrees to the left just to go straight, but we've got past Varolo. We're up into 10th position. this was the back marker, Javier Moreno losing it big time in front of me as I went up the hill, and then a few corners later, Paolo Varolo loses it as he's trying to defend 4th position from Gerd Zegner here, and look how well Zegner does to get by with just a little tap. Zegner was really lucky there. So Varolo's mistake on the penultimate lap gave me a top 10 finish after all. I limp home to take 10th and put +8 on the iRating, and incredibly, despite being battered and bruised, we'll even get a safety rating increase too. I wasn't expecting that at the start of the race.
Good job, very good job.
So an eventful return to iRacing. Here are the classified results. There we are down in 10th position. A fastest lap in the race of 2:09.2. So quite a bit slower than qualifying. But actually that fastest lap time compares pretty favourably to the group of cars in front of me. Right up to Soma Saplaki in 7th place. So I certainly feel that I had the potential for a better finish inside me in this one, but ultimately I was undone by 2 careless mistakes. Firstly, running wide into the chase chicane at the end of the first lap, and then clipping that wall that gave me wheel damage. But mistakes aside, this was a fun race, and I get to say something that I never thought I'd say. I survived.